Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to LAyercake, turn 18, where things are going pretty well, to be honest. We've just hit alteration level 3 and are continuing to go. Ryutaro has found a magic site in the Sea of Rond, the Sunken Tower, which gives me a water gem, so for the first time I have water income. That will be valuable. Didn't find any in Carrion, but oh well. There was a battle in Mictlan. I talked with Marignan, by the way. He agreed to leave Mictlan to me, and also to leave the province that he took to me, which was uncommon generous of him. I think he's a little bit worried about Patala, so he and Patala are going to have a knockdown, drag-out bar brawl sometime soon. But I have my little army here. I've got my Tengu in the back, my archers flanking, one little gang of infantry over here, a big line of infantry, some fire ants to serve as chaff, and some Jaguar Tribe warriors for the same purpose. My mages are all casting Stone Skin. They are not spending their gems because I anticipated that I wouldn't have to here. My archers are laying down some fire, doing a little bit of damage, and we're getting earth power going on with our Master Shugenjas, and they are about to start casting Earth Meld. Alright, so we've Earth Melded the enemy front line, including a lot of their Jaguar warriors. My Tengu jump into the back to attack these warriors, just as my infantry hit the front line and start mowing down the enemy here. For some reason, somebody is casting Flying Shards, and they don't appear to be earth melding anymore, but that's okay, because the Jaguars have been killed, the infantry has routed, all that's left is the warriors back here. My own arrows, unfortunately, score a really good friendly fire volley on my Tengu, and drive them off just as my infantry closes in to complete the destruction of these Mictlan warriors. So, it's all over but the crying. Once again, lost most of the Tengu involved, partially this time to friendly fire. I lost 1 Ashigaru and 3 fire ants, but besides those and the Tengu, no casualties actually. My Akaoni pretty much cleaved through the enemy with no trouble. My remaining Tengu did retreat, and 1 more of them died on that retreat. But we have Mictlan besieged. The walls are moderately damaged, which tells me that they don't have much inside, because I have 117 siege strength. This fort has 200 wall integrity, so he probably has maybe 40 or 50 siege defense inside here, maybe. It's going to take several turns in any case, but that tells me he doesn't have the strength to break out. So I am breaking off Fomoric here to go and claim that province that Marignan told me I could have. He did put some province defense in there, but we're just going to roll over it, take that, take this, keep going. Over here, one of my crab generals, Aichi, is moving over to grab these free units that I got from a random event. Down here, I have my first Ryujin, and he's a fire random. That's actually cool. Normally, I'm not all that excited about fire, but being a fire random means that he can cast fire spells, obviously, and he can cast acid spells. Since acid spells are water primary, all he needs is like 1 booster, and he can cast the biggest acid spells in the game. In addition, he can summon green lions out of the box once we reach that point. So, research-wise, we're still going up alteration. We're gonna hit alteration 5 first, before we do anything else. And then we will move on to some other priorities. Yeah, the ability to cast slow numbness. It's interesting because numbness is actually slow is reverse quickness. Numbness gives penalties. Slow just slows you down. You have to kind of stack both in order to really get reverse quickness. But in any case, I can also cast quickness with Ryujin, or any Master Shugenjas who random to water, although that's very, very rare. Underwater, also, you can encase people in ice, which makes them slow and numbs them and gives them fatigue. It does give them extra protection, but until they break out of the ice, they can't move or defend themselves. So encase in ice can be a pretty powerful little spell for underwater combat. At alteration level 4, I will also get Woven Winter, and the question will be then, will I cast it on Raga? And the answer is, to be honest, probably not. Probably not. Speaking of Raga, there were a couple of important battles. First, in Lyratos, Raga struck back with a gang of Zayidans against Patala's province defense and just wiped him out. I don't think they even bothered to bless. They're just standing around for a little while, and then they fly, and they attack, And they charge in and murder everybody, like I said, without even blessing. They don't need to. But then, more importantly, there was the battle in Raga itself. I think Patala, to be honest, I think Patala got cocky. In fact, I know Patala got cocky. Because they came in with their elephants and they're like, oh, we're so big and bad, we're going to deal with... Nah. They're not going to deal with this situation. These Fravashi are a national benefit of Kalamite nations where they just spawn in battles next to commanders, basically, and they're unscriptable, but they're there. They're nice little bennies, basically. They give you astral air mages. They don't really do much, the Fravashis, but they're kind of helpful. And they are, you know, ethereal, flying, they suck up damage, that kind of thing. They have awe, so they're cool. But mainly, the thing is, this is a whole lot of Jayedins. Like, a lot. And I still don't know where these pale ones came from, but there's also some pale ones here. This is a lot of Jayedins. So, everyone in the back is casting, it looks like, Air Shield to protect themselves, and there goes the Divine Blessing. So, all of these Jayedins are now blessed with their crazy rainbow bless that gives them +4 strength and extra attack skill and magic weapons and defense skill and blood surge and combat speed. It's like all of this added up comes up to basically a weak knockoff of quickness +4 extra strength and blood surge, which is pretty... I mean, it's not like as dangerous as outright quickness, but it's still pretty dangerous. And here's the thing about Jayedins. Yes, technically they can be trampled by war elephants. It just doesn't do much good. Like, watch what happens here. So we're animating a whole bunch of skeletons from the back. And the Jayedins are standing and waiting. The pale ones are getting trampled by the elephants. Oh no, all seems lost. Oh, shit. There's the griffins. All of the elephants turn around to head back to fight the Jayedins. Some of the Jayedins have actually lost... I'm not sure if any of them have lost their riders yet, but the griffins are just flying around the battlefield, doing murder, raising Cain, massacring elephants. The elephants are now routing. This is the problem with elephants, their morale. Morale 9, and the tendency to be in small squads, means they die. Oh, how they die. Now, the Nagas are doing pretty well. They're paralyzing some of the Jayedins, but the whole Patalan army is now routing, and now the elephants are going to rout right through them. This griffin has lost its rider, so now it's stupid. But notice, it's still blessed. It's still sacred. It's not sacred anymore, but it's still blessed for the remainder of the battle. So it still gets all those benefits. And it still has 2 attacks. So it's still not a pushover unit. It has a lot of HP. It actually has significantly more HP than a regular Jayedin does. And so the Patalan army is completely run off the field. Partially by their own elephants. And by the loss of their commander to Jayedin assassination. And here's the clincher. Here's the thing that makes this really bad as opposed to merely pretty bad. Their retreat, if I'm right, yeah, their retreat was cut off by this move. So, most of that army died on the field. But the whole of the army was just wiped out. Like, some of the Naga warriors made it off, some of the elephants made it off. Doesn't matter, they're all dead now, because they didn't have anywhere to retreat. So, in one fell swoop, Raga has turned this war around. By the deployment of 26 Jayedins, which is a frankly terrifying force at this point in the game. That being so, does that mean I am going to jump in and try to help against Raga? Probably not, to be honest. Raga and I have forged what I think is a fairly decent working relationship, and I am not interested in breaking that relationship. I think we work well together. I think we're doing fine. I think we'll be good friends. And if Raga manages to win against Patala, which I would not be surprised if he did, good for him. That'll be fine. And the longer this mess of a situation up here goes on, the more time I have to expand and consolidate and get comfortable and do the things that I want to do, and advance to the mid-game where I can be dangerous. Like, Zayedin's Raga is extremely dangerous in the early game. We're starting to pass out of the early game now. We're starting to move away from the time when Raga is at its height of power. And Raga is looking less and less threatening by the day, not because Zayedins are getting weaker, but because Zayedins are becoming less important as more and more battle magic becomes available. Now, my research is still not great, but I'm already up to level 3 in a couple of things. And if you get up to level 5, there are ways to counteract Zayedins, particularly because at level 5 I'll be able to get Dai Tengu, and I'll be able to get air elementals, and all kinds of cool things that will be able to take out Zayedins. Shock damage. Armor negating shock damage against Zayedins who don't have shock resistance is fantastic. Also, of course, I'm starting to get my Ryujin out. Slowly, but they're coming. I'll be able to start recruiting them here in 2 turns, because I'm building a lab, and next turn I'll build a temple. And at that point, I will, the world will be my oyster. Let's recruit one more Shark Warrior. I haven't been recruiting Shark Warriors for a couple turns. What I'd like to do is, I'd like to cross across here and start taking Patala's underwater provinces, which I am the only one in position to do. Patala's Earth Snake was just a turn ago way over here, and he appears to have now gone underwater into the Hungry Sea. So this is where the snake should be. I know that Marignan is now planning to attack Patala, so Patala is about to find themselves with their gangbang turned around on them. They thought they were coming in to take out Raga. Instead, they have been the assaulted. Now, in an ideal world, I would be able to maintain the balance of power such that Raga cannot take over Patala. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to make that happen, because Patala's army was so thoroughly destroyed and for so few casualties. I mean, they did lose 2 mages. And to be honest, I'm not entirely sure how. Like, I think Bandar archers just shot them, I think is what happened. I think these Bandar archers just shot a Daster and a Karapan. But yeah. Other than that, this was pretty much a curb stomp. The War Elephants, they got 43 kills here. Most of those kills were friendly. They killed 13 Pale Ones. They did kill a few Zayedins, but most of those kills came from them trampling through their own light Bandar archers and Naga warriors. So, in my news, I've finished the fortress in Kamiya. So I now have a few more resources. If I have the money, I can recruit more crossbows here. Right now, I'm just sticking with a steady 6 per turn. That'll be fine. I'm not recruiting any of my actual national troops because I'm short of money, and I'm focused on pumping out mages. I'm getting a Shugenja right here. I'm recruiting actually an Onmyoji here. Up here, I'm recruiting a Shugenja at half speed, and over here, I'm recruiting a Master Shugenja. So I'm starting to get out Onmyojis because I want astral sight searching, and at some point here, astral magic will start to become really relevant. It'll never be a real strong suit of Jomon, so probably at this point I'm just going to recruit a couple of Onmyoji for astral sight searching and have them run around finding astral sights to get me a little bit of astral income. My gem income is still not great. That's an understatement of the year. My gem income is still quite poor, really. It's 9. And I'm also getting 3 blood slaves for some reason. What is actually giving me those blood slaves? It can't be... It's not Mictlan, because I haven't conquered Mictlan yet. Is it... Oh, it's a slave market. That's what's giving me blood slaves. And it's also increasing the unrest in the province. So, yay, that's good, he says sarcastically. Could be recruiting scouts there, so let's actually move our scout recruitment out 1 province, just for efficiency's sake. I do have 2 wild forests, which is really, really nice. That's giving me much better. That's giving me triple the nature income I was getting before, and nature gems will be very, very valuable for me because I do have so much nature magic available as Jomon. Sieging down Mictlan, like I said, I anticipate will take a few turns. I'm going to take that province, and then I'm going to swing back and try to take this province, probably with the aid of Shark Warriors. Tokimichi here is going to move up this way, so Aichi is going to go over here, grab these Ashigaru to put them to use. Tokimichi will move up here and grab these units to put them to use. And we will proceed from there. Still short on money because I am still building infrastructure. But in a couple of turns, I'll be caught up on infrastructure, and I'll be prepared to turn all my money towards producing troops for the next war. And I haven't quite decided who the next war is going to be against. It might be against Raga. It might just be opportunistic sniping against Batala. It might be against Arcocephale. I've been thinking about that, partially because Arcocephale has moved out here to take this throne. I had thought we had an agreement where this was our border, and I was going to be taking that. But apparently Arcocephale thought different, so we'll have a discussion about that, and we'll see what we can do about it. I'm feeling a lot better about taking them on than I was. Arcocephale does have some units that will be a little bit difficult for me to deal with. They don't have crossbows nationally, thankfully. They do have a Gemma Companions, which are solid heavy cavalry. But I can deal with heavy cavalry. I mean, with only protection 15, they do have a very high defense skill. But my troops have very high attack skills, and they also do quite high damage. So against protection 15, I think I can cut down a Gemma Companions without too much trouble. Hoplites don't scare me, to be honest. I think my Akaoni Samurai can murder hoplites pretty effectively. In fact, I think my Akaoni Samurai can deal with pretty much all of Arcocephale's units without all that much trouble. They do have... what's their gem income again? Just astral in nature. Yeah, not a problem. So yeah, I'm not scared of Arcocephale. Atlantis, thankfully, has not shown any inclination to push real hard. They have built quite a number of temples, so they're pushing their dominion pretty aggressively, like more aggressively than you usually see. I mean, I haven't built that many temples, and I've been pushing my dominion because my god died. So I've been pushing my dominion out of sheer unadulterated self-defense. It doesn't look like Arco has been pushing their dominion hardly at all, and I also haven't seen a god from them, which makes me think they took an imprisoned god. Or possibly a dormant, or possibly an immobile. I'm going to move this scout down there to see. I do see 2 Arcocephalian forts. And they've got a decent grip of territory. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 14. Yeah, they've probably got these as well. In other messages, what else was happening? The Throne of Law has been claimed, so order has increased and unrest has decreased everywhere. So that is... The Throne of Law was claimed last turn by Agartha. So that's fine. So that's what that throne over there is. Arcocephale has the Throne of Life, which is a really nice throne. So yeah, that's going to be this one right here. I don't have any thrones yet, and I'm okay with that. It sort of keeps me under the radar. I might grab this one, but we'll see. And like I said, I'm probably going to take my Shark Warriors and go do some opportunistic raiding of Batala at some point here. In fact, I may stop recruiting crossbows. Is always such a dangerous sounding thing to say. You never really want to stop recruiting crossbows. I may stop recruiting crossbows, though. It's not like they're going to help against Raga much if Raga decides to turn on me. And having a couple more Shark Warriors to go attack Batala may help persuade Raga not to turn on me. So, that's going to be turn 18, and I will see you all in turn 19. Alright, turn 19, and we are in a pretty solid place. I'm feeling fairly good about this at this point. That's a little bit scary, and that's a little bit scary, but we'll talk about that in a minute. I've once again spent all my money, and I'm still not recruiting many troops on land. I am recruiting some in Sleepy Wolds, but overall, I like where I'm at. I'm getting a Shugenja over here because he was already half recruited, but I've gone back to recruiting Master Shugenjas in these 2 forts. I've got an Onmyoji there. I am building my temple in the Sea of Rond, and so next turn I will be able to start recruiting another Ryujin there. Over here, Akihiro, my first Ryujin, is moving over to the Sea of Rond to search it for fire sites. Hopefully my next Ryujin will have a different random. An air random would be really nice. An earth random would also be great. nature would be okay too. And they can fly around searching for magic sites because, as I mentioned, Ryujin have just insane map move. I love the fact that they are so fast. Ichi has picked up these, or Ichi, has picked up these 40 Ashigaru, who are pretty garbage, but I mean, they're still units, they're just chaff. He's moving north with them at the moment. Not sure what I'm going to do with those troops, also not sure what I'm going to do with all those crossbows, but I'm recruiting a commander here to join the crossbow party. We're recruiting our max in crossbows. We've upgraded this to a fortification. We could upgrade it one more time to a castle, but upgrading to a castle does not give us any more commander points. It does give us better administration and a small recruitment point bonus. So it might be worth it, but it's kind of expensive. I mean, upgrading to a castle, I mean, it only costs 300 gold, but still, 300 gold is 300 gold. And I don't have much gold right at the moment. I am recruiting Shark Tribe in both of my lakes at this point. I have 8 right now. I'll recruit 4 more, and then I'll have 12 Shark Tribe, with which I will probably go over here and attack Patala. Patala is in a bad way. Marignan, true to their word, has moved their army over here to take Pergami back from Patala. Patala's snake, I think, is right underneath there, because this province was not Patala last turn. At least I didn't notice that it was. So Patala's snake is still rampaging around. However, Raga is definitely beating them back. Raga just retook the Dragon Scale Mountains, and we can watch this battle. Patala stacked a whole bunch of province defense in here, and also had a bunch of recruited barbarians. So he's got a lot of barbarians, and barbarians do hit hard. In fact, they hit hard enough in this context to wipe out some of these Zayens. This is Raga's prophet. He is an area scout. So, no leadership, but he can fly, which means he can zip around and join groups of Zayedens who are led by Zayeden Spabeds, who I think look identical. Yeah, they do look pretty much identical to other Zayedens, except if you zoom in, if you zoom way in, you'll notice he's got gold chasing where all the others have red. So that's how you tell Zayeden Spabeds apart from regular Zayedens. Very subtle, I know. This poor Zayeden Spabed has lost an arm, so he can't use his broadsword anymore. Too bad, so sad. But so with the prophet, they've got the divine blessing. All these barbarians are going to kind of charge forward screaming in the way that barbarians tend to do. And any moment now, any second now, wait for it, there they go. The flight of the griffins. Dun, 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 dun. The enemy back here has been, the commander has been killed, and so the barbarians are routing, but they're routing through these Yedens, so they are doing some damage just because the ones who are stopped are still fighting. They killed a couple of the riders, so we've got some Turin Griffins down here. And they killed, I think they killed a couple of them outright. Yeah, they killed a couple of them outright, I think. The assassination of the commanders via the flying shenanigans is honestly one of the strongest part of the Zayedens. But, so you can see the Zayedens absolutely massacred most of the barbarians. They lost 4 Zayedens, and 2 of those it looks like were lost permanently, because they did gain 2 Turin Griffins. So, net losses, 2 guys. In exchange for almost 100 barbarians. You know, Zayedens are scary. In Loreborough, we, true to our word, we moved into this province that Marignan had agreed we could have. And our troops just went in. I did take a couple of casualties, because this is a small group. But nothing too bad. My infantry pretty much chews up independent infantry, as I've said before. The Go Hatamotos are a little bit worse at chewing them up than the Akaoni Samurai, because their defense skill is worse and their attack skill is worse. But, so I lost 1 Akaoni and 1 Go Hatamoto in exchange for wiping out fairly heavy province defense, to be honest. I'm not sure why he put such heavy province defense in when he said I could have this province. But I'll make sure that's okay. I'll contact him. There was also a battle in the Mighty Pillars. Arcosfale moved what I can only characterize as an unnecessarily large army in to wipe out a very, very small amount of province defense. which is an interesting choice unless they're planning to use it against somebody up here. And, well, I'm the person up here right at the moment, so that worries me a little bit. So he's got a whole big pile of crossbows in the back. His front line is Ajema Companions, who are his elite heavy cavalry with the extremely high defense skill, almost elvish high. He's got a couple lines of hoplites, and in the center he has his Cerulean warriors. This Cerulean warrior is blind and only has one arm, so he is not very, shall we say, normative. These are more like them. So Cerulean warriors, solid stats, decent protection, high damage with their maces. Their only real weakness is that they are size 3. So, and their combat speed 8, so they are slow. So, if we stop doing that. So, if we watch how this battle goes, we've got a tiny, tiny little amount of province defense. Everybody is sitting and waiting, and here come the crossbow bolts. I am amazed. That one militia just advancing through the storm. Wow. You brave, brave... Okay, well, never mind. He's routed. He's running away. He's not a brave, brave soul. Whee! The arrow storm! Yep, there they got him that time. Those crossbowmen felt so ashamed after missing on the first round. So yeah, this is a large army. It's mainly crossbows. Mainly independent crossbows, interestingly. Decent heavy cavalry force, but I think they're mainly coming from here. He's built a fort on a crossbow province, which is fair. I would probably do the same. He's got his scales, as you can see here. It looks like his scales are order... It looks like he's gone full scales, to be honest. Like outright full scales. He's gone luck 3, order 3. Luck 3 and order 3, interestingly, I wouldn't necessarily take together because order reduces the number of random events you get. Magic, growth, heat, productivity. He's got a lot of scales going on, which makes me think that he probably has taken a dormant or imprisoned god, which is fair, because Argocephale's sacreds are not impressive. Not terribly impressive, at least. But I'm a little worried about this. We have a non-aggression pact that we've agreed to. I'm not sure that I entirely trust Argocephale. I hope I can trust Argocephale. I'm still wondering what this is about, because I legitimately thought that we had agreed that he was not coming over here. So that's an interesting question to answer. And of course, what this army is doing is an interesting question to answer. Hopefully what it's doing is it's going to go over here and then go up to fight Marignan, or go over here to try and fight Patala. If those two get into a beef over on this side, I don't care. What I don't want is that army coming in to fight me. Because if that army comes in to fight my little force over here, it's probably going to win. Not to put too fine a point on it, but this army is fairly... Oh, not really set up to deal with that. So what we're going to do is we're going to set these guys up to spam out some lesser earth elementals. I would like them to be spamming full-size Earth Elementals, which would be a lot more effective, but unfortunately I don't have Conjuration 5 because I'm rushing Alteration 5, which is, I think, still the right strategy, but... yeah, if that army decides to come into Mictlan, they will crush this army, drive it before them, and hear the lamentations of my women, because there is no possible way that 29 Aka Oni Samurai and 27 Samurai Archers are going to survive the crossbow storm, much less do so long enough to inflict serious damage on that huge line of Ajema Companions and heavy infantry. It's just not realistic. So, basically, if Argocephale decides to say screw the non-aggression pact and rolls in heavy, I can't stop him. That said, Mictlan's walls are severely damaged. I'm gonna stick it out. I'm gonna see if I can take Mictlan. I would love to take Mictlan. That would make me so happy. If I lose this army and Argocephale takes Mictlan, it's not the end of the world. I can go to war with Argocephale. That's got to be pretty much his only army. I mean, just in terms of the time of the game it is, 131 crossbowmen, he can't be recruiting more than 10 or 15 to turn. So that's like 8 or 9 turns worth of crossbows alone. That's probably the entire production of this fort so far. He's got down here about 40 units, many of which are Ajama companions. So that and the Ajama companions up here, plus the Cerulean warriors and Ajama companions here, probably pretty much the entire production of his capital. I do not... Also, interestingly, I do not see many mages. Like, I'm not crazy, right? I mean, Arcocephali has mystics that are cheap and efficient researchers. They've got Orphic mystics that are even cheaper and more efficient researchers, and have death and nature magic. They've got priestesses, they've got sibyls, and pretty much all I see is this one Hierophant. And like, I think a Hierophant is a prophetized mystic. I think that's the... yeah, that's the prophet shape of a mystic. But over here, about 20 units, mainly Cerulean warriors and Ajama companions. That, I think, means there's less than, like, 5 mages in his capital, because they don't even appear on the list. So, I don't know what's going on with that. That strikes me as a little bit confusing. I'm going to move a scout over to there to see if I can figure out what he's doing in that fort. Down here, I mean, my forts are, like, mainly garrisoned by mages, these two. But, we'll kind of see what's going on. We're maintaining the siege of Mictlan. If he decides to roll in on me, there's nothing much I can do about it, and we will just have to kind of see how it goes. It'll go badly, but we knew that already. However, we are recruiting our Shark Warriors, and Shark Warriors will be extremely effective in melee combat, especially backed up by Ryujin and our Samurai Archers and Akaoni Samurai, which we're not recruiting much of right now, but as soon as we get that temple built, we'll have a little bit of money free. I am building a commander over here who is going to build a fortress in Cormark, because I am never satisfied with forts. I may have 5 now, but I would like to have 6. It's turn 19. I think it's about time to start working on a 6th fort. And, yeah, I think things should go pretty well, to be honest. To be honest, I'm pretty satisfied with the way things are going. We're going to have Tokimishi, as I said, move down here to Sleepy Wolds. Still recruiting priests, still calling God. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, I'm up to 8 points a turn. So I should be getting him back sometime soon. I haven't been counting, to be honest, but 8 factorial is getting pretty close to 50. 6. One second, let me do some math in my head. Plus 3 is 6, plus 4 is 10, plus 5 is 15, plus 6 is 21, plus 7 is 28, plus 8 is 30. Well, we've got a few turns to go yet. I think we've got about 3 turns left before we can be sure we've got him. But still, we're getting close. We should have him back by the start of year 2. So that'll be nice. It will be nice to have our good old godly man back. Masafusa. Masafusa should move to start site searching. We've got several people site searching already, but we can always have more. It is always a good idea to have more. Do I have any water randoms? No. I would love water sites. Feed me water sites, please. I do not have many water random Shugenjas in general, which is a little bit unfortunate. I also definitely need to keep recruiting Master Shugenjas in the hope of getting a 2 air random, because a Master Shugenja with 2 air randoms, which are of course rare, it's about 4%. Plus, technically you get an extra chance because there's a 10% chance of getting another random path, and of those, about 2% will be... 2% overall will get this air path. So 2% of Masters can just get this air path, and if they do that, then they only need one of the others. So that's, it's another fractional percentage chance. But, A 2-air random Master Shugenja, of course, can summon Dai Oni. Can contact Dai Tengu, I'm sorry. It requires 2 air and 1 earth. And Dai Tengu is an incredibly effective and efficient summoning spell. Dai Tengu are high-level air mages. They come with 10 Tengu warriors and 15 Karasu Tengu. Summoning just these guys by themselves, for one thing, you can't summon Tengu warriors. They have armor. They're by far the most effective Tengu. And 15 Karasu Tengus would require 15 nature gems by themselves. So effectively, with the 15 Karasu Tengu and the 10 Tengu warriors who are easily worth more than 10 gems, effectively the Dai Tengu himself only costs you about 30 gems. And the Dai Tengu is absolutely worth 30 gems. Also, Conjuration 5, I'll get, in terms of research priorities, my next priority is probably Conjuration 5 after Alteration 5, because Conjuration 5 gives me Dai Tengu, it gives me Kaijin, which are water summons that are very good. It gives me Ujigami, which are decent thugs, leaders, and also priests, so they can bless people if necessary, and they can bless themselves. Level 6 is really, really a good level for Jomon, specifically because it gives you Kitsune. Kitsune are nature mages who are also spies, extremely stealthy, and they have a bunch of randoms. Mainly not 100%, I think they have like 3 or 4 50% randoms. But so Kitsune can have astral magic, and they can have air magic and nature magic and all that kind of stuff, so they're really good. Yama no Kami is the only higher level national summon besides the Dai Oni, who don't matter. Yama no Kami are powerful, but only in mountains. And if they leave mountains, they lose a lot of their magic powers, which is really kind of a bummer. So it limits where you can use them effectively. But we'll kind of deal with that as we go. I would like to build a lab here as well, so I could start slowly recruiting Master Shugenjas there. To do that, I will have to move. Probably Masafusa is going to go over here, go here, search, and build a lab. I do have the unrest here from the slave market, which is a little bit of a bummer. I would have to either patrol that down or at least keep it from going up too high. It should stabilize at some point because unrest, I think, automatically reduces more as it goes up higher. But of course, my turmoil dominion, which means my unrest reduction is worse, might mean that goes all the way up to 100, which would be a bummer. I have gotten, like, an unusual quantity of blood slaves. Like, at this point, I'm seriously considering the validity of sometime in year 2, empowering somebody in blood and starting to blood hunt, because it would be a late game plan, which otherwise I don't really have much of one. But that is for a future date. Right now I'm forging owl quills, starting to do that. I'm summoning some more Karasu Tengu with my nature gems. That will use up my nature gem income exactly, so I will definitely need to get some more. But I can do that. And recruiting my shark warriors, recruiting my crossbows, recruiting a few of my Akaoni samurai, and everything's going pretty well. Like I said, probably my next target will be Patala, probably taking these underwater provinces away with my Shark Warrior gang, and I think my Shark Warriors should be able to do it pretty effectively. I do not have a non-aggression pact with Patala, and frankly, Patala is in quite a lot of trouble. Between Marignon and Raga, Raga is of course the bigger threat, but it'll get them. Also, I did equip this ninja. I gave him the Scepter of Authority and the handful of acorns and the dragon helmet. So we'll see how effective he really is. I would wager probably not super effective, but it's not that many gems. It's 15 gems, which is a lot for an assassin, but I don't know. I thought it was funny. I'm gonna try it. We're gonna see if it works. And hey, if he gets into melee, it's a magic scepter. It has an attack bonus. He can bludgeon somebody with it. But mainly he'll just use it to try to assassinate mages and set them on fire. Because if you set a mage on fire and the mage doesn't put themselves out, hey, they could burn to death. You never know. Anything's possible. Also, I will want to take this barbarian province. I'm thinking These 13 taking that, and then 12 Shark Warriors should probably be able to take 40 Barbarians. It's always a little scary being outnumbered by Barbarians, but I think it's probably doable. Unfortunately, that ninja can't get there, so assassinating the Barbarian Chieftains is definitely one way to deal with this issue, but Jomon is sneaking over here to take a look at Patala. And that'll be the turn. We'll see how things develop. Overall, I am satisfied with how things are going. I'm hoping that I get Mictlan, which will kick my gem income up just slightly in a lot of different categories, including giving me an extra Blood Slave, which will push me up to 4 Blood Slaves per turn, which would actually be kind of nice. And so we will see how things go. I'm really hoping that this army is going over there and then going into Patala's territory. Lorf seems like a nice guy. That's the player of Arcocephali. I think he'll do it. I have faith in Lorf. I trust him. I don't like this, but I'm not going to raise a stink about it because, frankly, I'm not in much of a position to raise a stink about it. If Lorf went to war with me with this army, he could pretty much just roll me right up, at least back to about here. I think I'd probably have to stop him somewhere around these two provinces, and it would be a pain. It would be a struggle. Having Ryujin would help, but ugh, it would still be a struggle. If I get up to Wind Guide, then Wind Guide will be nice. An air random Ryujin can drop Wind Guide, and that will help me a lot. It makes Samurai Archers extremely effective, especially if you can combine that with Flaming Arrows, which Fire Random Ryujin can cast. You cast Phoenix Power to get you up to Fire 3, and then you use 2 gems to cast Flaming Arrows. So, that will be for the future. I will definitely want to grab Enchantment, probably fairly soon, but I definitely want to hit Conjuration 5 first to summon elementals and such. So, I will see you all in turn 20. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, it is LAyercake, turn 20, and like I said last time, things are going pretty well, to be honest. Once again, I'm low, although not 0 on money, because I'm not recruiting troops, because I'm dumb. Actually, what I'm not doing is I'm not recruiting a mage, so let's recruit that dude right there. I'm pretty much maxed out on crossbows, which is exactly where I want to be. That guy needs to move up north to join the crossbow party. Gonna have about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I'm gonna have 27 crossbows for him next turn. So I've built up a reasonable pack of crossbows here that I can use. This turn, in events, I received water gems, a total of 20 from Bogarus and Patala. I summoned some Karasu Tengus. I saw a couple of battles. This one was unexciting. Patala just bounced a scout off Raga. In Pantocrator's Legacy, my little infantry expeditionary force continues to clean up random Mictlan provinces with very, very minimal province defense in them. We just pretty much wiped them out here. No sweat. In Eagle Reach Mountains, Pangaea attacked Man. So there's definitely some kind of a war going on there. Pangaea has brought a whole bunch of random animals, some satyrs, who are basic Pangaean stealthy infantry, who have recuperation because everything Pangaea has to be better, I guess. They do have javelins. They're undisciplined, though, so they're not fantastic. He also has some independent militia, I guess, to bolster numbers. He has some mooses, who are summoned animal chaff, some great bears, who are exactly the same, summoned animal chaff, and some boars, who are summoned animal chaff, along with some giant spiders, who are bad summoned animal chaff. Over here, however, he has one Pan, Pans are, of course, the extremely powerful earth and nature mages that are Pangaea's capital-only recruits. He's going up against some random independent province defense, so those animals basically just charge in, cause chaos. They get stopped up a little bit by the militia here, but they get wiped out pretty quick, and then the animals storm on to attack the archers. While back here, Mr. Charbos is, I think, just unscripted. He's bark-skinned and regenerated himself, which might be scripted, but beyond that, he's just casting Earth Might on his bodyguards who aren't being part of the show. He lost some of his animals and militia, but he won the battle, and that's what matters. So, it looks like there's a fight going on there. In Kamiya, one of my Master Shugenjas was attacked by an assassin, which is a little bit scary. Master Shugenjas can certainly die to assassins, particularly this one because he has a chest wounded, so his encumbrance is super high. However, he's going to cast Iron Skin on himself, which is fantastic. I love Earth Mages because they do that. And then he's going to cast, I haven't watched this battle, he's going to cast Flying Shards, so he's going to shotgun this guy in the face at point blank range. Boom, there he goes. Let's look at the unit overview. Yeah, he was stabbed. It just didn't do any damage because his protection is very, very high. And then he cast Flying Shards and, yeah, just shotgunned the assassin to death at point blank range. Earth Mages are actually pretty hard to assassinate for that reason, pretty much, unless you're geared. If I'd given him Nature Gems, he could have done something maybe, but in any case. So, we have also breached the entrance to the fortification in Mectlan, so we can storm anytime, and that is exactly what we're going to do. Also, we finished constructing the lab and temple here in the Sea of Ron, so we have begun recruiting a Ryujin there. We've got a second Ryujin over here, Chico, who is searching for magic sites. Akihiro is searching up here. And we're going to be getting 2 more Ryujin every 2 turns. So, we're doing fantastic on that front. I'm going to spend the rest of my money here just kicking up province defense underwater, because I'm a nervous Nelly who does not want anything to go wrong. Ryutaro can now leave the water, so he's going to join. I am moving my 12 Shark Warriors to attack the Mountains of Evernight in conjunction with these 13 troops. Ryutaro, since he is the, he can cast the Meditation Sign, which allows him to reinvigorate himself, and he can cast Numbness as well as summon Lesser Water Elemental. So he will definitely be helpful in this fight. So what he's going to do is, he's just going to spam Numbness, basically. He doesn't really need to do anything else, but that alone will be a significant bonus to our armies. So first he's going to... Is he Sacred? Yeah, of course he's Sacred, and he's automatically blessed because he's the Prophet, which gives him... which gives him nothing because my god is dead. That's right. Yeah, well, okay, so we're going to have him cast... he will quicken Self, I guess, because he can do that for free. And then he's going to spam out Numbness. And then last, he'll use the Meditation Sign to remove all his fatigue and then continue casting spells. So, he will be standing right here. And the way this battle is going to work is these guys are going to be standing up at the front. Yep, like that. Commander's in the back, and we're going to tell them to hold and attack closest. And the barbarians will run forward, Ryutaro will numb some of them, and then my troops will go in, and they should chop those barbarians up pretty well. Except for this guy. He won't be chopping anybody up because he's just punching. He's just an extremely aggressive puncher. How many of these guys have lost arms again? Only one. Only one of these troops have lost arms. Good. Shark Warriors, by the way, I know I've shown them off before, I think, but Shark Warriors are just great. Above ground, not super fantastic, but below water, they're legitimately better than most summons. And above ground, they're still pretty good. I really also look at their dopey little faces. They look like anchovies wearing suits. It's hilarious. But the cool thing about them is they have very high damage and high protection. They don't wear hats, so their head protection is unfortunately low. That's an issue, but they're big enough that humans with length 1 weapons can't hit their heads. So human swordsmen can't hit their heads at all. Human spearmen can, or anything with a length 2 or a length 3 weapon can hit their head, in which case the low head protection is a serious weakness, but their body protection is very high. And like their body protection is, 19. And they have length 5 spears with pretty high attack values, which means they repel quite effectively. So they're even more durable in melee than it looks from their stats. Now, they share the Jomonese crippling allergy to crossbows, because they're protection resistant, so they're protection reliant, rather, is what I meant. So that's a problem, but it can be worked around. It can be mitigated with the same tactics that Jomon uses to mitigate everyone's weakness to crossbows. So yeah, they're very, very good. They do have low defense skill because they have penalties from their armor and everything. Their precision isn't great, but they don't have any ranged weapons, and they're not fast. But among the things Ryujin can do is cast quickness, which quickens a square. And so if you have 4 or 5 Ryujins backing up an army of Shark Warriors, you can have them all spam Quickness, although I can't cast it yet. I can only cast Quicken Self. But you can have them all spam Quickness onto the Shark Warriors, and that can be actually pretty effective. Research-wise, I am going to hit Alteration level 4, yeah, at which point I'll be able to cast Quickness. I'll hit Alteration level 4 next turn. I will be able to begin to cast Woven Winter at that point, and I have agreed, this is why I got all those water gems, I have agreed to begin casting Woven Winter onto Raga's capital to prevent him from recruiting Ziyedins. I've told Raga this because I ended the non-aggression pact. Raga and I have actually had a pretty cordial relationship. So I told him, just so you know, non-aggression pact is ending turn 22, at which point I will begin casting Woven Winter on your cap, because I agreed that I was going to do it, and now I need to do it. So he honestly told me that was okay. I think he's not really concerned about me, and he's not focusing on me. So he's focusing on this. Patala has not learned his lesson and is sending in another huge army of war elephants. I don't think war elephants are a great counter to Ziyedins, I really don't. But, I mean, I guess Patala can recruit him pretty cheap, so he's just kind of keeping the pressure on. Raga is effectively pushing back Ulm. I think he's having problems dealing with this mess. So, also, that's a ton of elephants. I mean, that's a ton of cash. Like, Patala must have money coming out their ears. Admittedly, I have quite a bit of money, and I'm smaller than Patala is, so fair enough. You know, fair play to you, but still. At some point here, as I said, I'm going to take these Shark Warriors and go attack Patala with them, but not right now. Right now, I'm just using them to bolster my human forces. The big thing over this turn, okay, Arquasfale did in fact move over this way to take this Mictlan province with their huge army. Hopefully they will then go and attack Marignan or Patala or somebody. That would be nice. We've been fairly friendly, so I'm not too worried about it. I am attacking Mictlan, and my scripting is thus. I have my undisciplined and or crappy units up front. Behind them I have the mages, and the mages are scripted to Iron Skin, summon Earth Power, and then spam out some lesser Earth Elementals. They should be doing that just as the Akaoni Samurai begin to move forward. I'm going to split these guys up a little bit more evenly because it bothers me that they're so uneven because I'm a little bit OCD. Yeah, 17 in each unit. That's great. So, these guys should be firing. I actually want you to fire... I don't know what he has in there. But Mictlan, middle-aged Mictlan. Let me see if there's anything that would be worthwhile to deliberately target. Kings of Rain aren't big enough to qualify as large monsters, unfortunately. Eagle Warriors can fly, so that's a possible thing I might face, so I want you to target enemy flyers if at all possible. Otherwise, they're just going to waste arrows shooting at the walls, to be honest. But that's fine. The Akaoni Samurai will be going in behind the crap and intermixed with the Earth Elementals, and I think they should be able to do a pretty good job. The crap should hold the gate long enough for the Akaoni Samurai to pass by the Master Shugenjas, and then the Master Shugenjas will be close enough that they can cast other spells like primarily Earth Meld to help with the infantry fight. But I do want those lesser Earth Elementals. They take a little bit longer to cast and they cost a lot of fatigue, but... well, actually, they do cost quite a bit of fatigue. But with Earth Power, I'll be Earth 3. So effectively, I'll be getting them for... oh, what is it? I should be getting them for one-third fatigue. So 33 fatigue each. Yeah, so that'll be fine. I think I'll probably run out of Earth Gems before I quite hit my limit here, because I think they'll use an extra Earth Gem on the second one. But then they'll probably just default to spamming Earth Meld, because that's basically the best Earth spell I've got, either Earth Meld or Flying Shards. And either of those will honestly be okay. So I think I'm going to win this fight. I think I'm also going to win this fight. That is a lot of barbarians, but I feel like my troops are high enough quality and numerically enough that I can take it. I could set Ryutaro to summon some lesser water elementals to help out. That would mean using some water gems, and I do want to save up those water gems to shut down Zayedin production. As I've said before, my ideal end case for this whole mess is that Raga, Ulm, Bogarus, and Patala are all tied up fighting a forever war for as long as possible. And honestly, it's played out pretty well. My only concern, really at this point, is to keep it going long enough, so for 3 or 4 more turns, enough so that I can finish off Mictlan, solidify that situation, and traverse over here to get my armies involved in taking territory from Raga and Patala. Yes, I'm going to get ambitious. I'm going to declare war on 2 nations at once, because I want land and Raga is on the way out, and fuck Patala, they killed my god, the bastards. We cannot tolerate that. Not worried about Man, because Man clearly has his own problems to deal with, and he's fighting Ulm down here as well, I've heard. Ulm, of course, is in a world of hurt, and I'm okay with that. I'm fine with Ulm being in a world of hurt. They can stay that way. Pangea's Earth Serpent is just tracing, I think, is just having an adventure way over here. Notably, this is Patala. That Earth Serpent, first of all, came over here, was wandering around in this area, must have come back around, and then it's gone doop, 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 and now it's probably heading up into that lake. So, Patala's god is just having all sorts of fun. But I'm regretfully, well, not very regretfully, I am gonna take this lake away from them, and conquer it and steal it for my own usage, and put forts in it, and recruit more Ryujins from it. And that'll be fun. It'll be a good time. I will enjoy it tremendously. The fact that these two are synced up does mean I'm actually going to have to be careful with money, because these 2 forts are going to be requiring an extra 500 gold all in a lump sum every other turn, which is a little bit annoying. I would like it if they were staggered, so I was getting 1 every turn. But, you know what? It's a minor inconvenience. I'll deal with it. Yukimasa needs to summon another pack of Karasu Tengu, if possible. Well, that was what I summoned last time, right? Karasu Tengu? Yeah. I'm just going to slowly mass up Karasu Tengu. Also, I don't know why, but the monthly ritual thing seems to not be working for me in pretty much every game. But yeah, let's mass up some more Karasu Tengu. Oh, actually, I already have 1 guy doing that. Huh. What am I thinking of then? Yeah, having 2 guys doing that is fine. I've got my first Onmyoji. He is going to move around and sight search Astral. I'm going to recruit 1 more, and then I will go back to recruiting Master Shugenjas, probably, or possibly regular Shugenjas. Regular Shugenjas aren't, well, a lot of them are pretty terrible. These Earth 2 regular Shugenjas are fine. Like, I will buy that for $1. At their price, if they were guaranteed Earth 2, they'd be amazing. I would be buying tons and tons and tons of them. Since they're not, since they're only guaranteed Earth 1, and then have an 80% chance of having 1 random, not very useful crosspath, they are less interesting. Down here, Tokimichi has gathered an army of Tengu and Samurai archers, and the question is, the million-dollar question is, where to take it? Taking it down here would be unwise. Taking it over there would be a deliberate provocation against Arcocephale. I mean, to be fair, Arcocephale has provoked me here, and his response when I questioned him about it was basically, tough nuggets, suck it up. Which I wasn't a big fan of, but at the same time, I don't want to tangle with Arcocephale right now because I have bigger fish to fry. So, we're just going to let that slide. I have found some of his mages. This province is mainly hoplites and mystics, so he has clearly been pumping mages out of here. This province still does not have many, if any, mages in it. I did find an Orphic Mystic here, so he's definitely got mages. He's just not got a lot of them. I don't have the money to start the fort here yet, so that'll have to wait 1 more turn. That's fine. I've honestly got enough forts. The fact that I have enough forts to spend all of my income producing mages is a good sign. You know, that I don't have the fact that I don't have enough money to recruit many troops. Like I have, after recruiting all my mages, I have about 220 gold left, which I'm currently spending on Shark Warriors. I like that. Economically, that's kind of where I want to be. It does put a crimp in my troop production, of course, but it's fine. I will take it, I'll accept it. It doesn't bother me because mages are more valuable than troops anyway. And my mages can generate troops by casting summoning spells. And with my wide spread of gems and my wide spread of paths, the one thing that Jomon is really good at is summoning a whole lot of things. You can cast basically every low-level summon with Jomon. You can summon fire ants. You can summon... Here. Like every one of these spells except the death ones. You can summon ogres if you want to. You can summon wolves, which are great patrollers. You can summon fire ants, which are excellent chaff. You can summon all the elementals. You can bind scorpion beasts if for some reason you need scorpion beasts. They're not very good, but they're something. You can summon I can't pronounce that word. Amphiteres, which are actually pretty good. They're flying and they have a poison breath attack. You can summon yetis, which are solid. They're better than ogres for sure, although expensive. You can summon cave crabs, which are kind of cool if you have caves. You can summon vinemen, and sea lions aren't very good. Ambush of tigers is okay. But you can do just everything. You can summon sea serpents and drakes and everything. Vine ogres, awakening vine ogres is pretty cool. Any nature 2 random can do that while holding a thistle mace, and you can forge an ivy crown to make it more efficient, which makes it actually pretty effective. You can summon Kitharonic lions if you have a Master Shugenja holding a thistle mace, and Kitharonic lions are actually kind of neat summons. I like them. So there's lots and lots and lots of summoning options as Jomon. A lot of them are nature, which means I do need more nature income, but there's also some in fire, some in water, and a few in earth, although the good earth summons are mainly down construction. The good earth summons are like Mechanical Men is a pretty good earth summon, and I don't think I've ever cast Construct Mandragora. I've cast Construct Mannequin. Construct Mannequin is pretty effective too, although as Jomon, of course, you don't have any death. But I think these are going to be my research goals: Alteration level 5, then Conjuration level 5. At that point, I will start to splash. I will want Enchantment, because now that I have Ryujin, Flaming Arrows is a possibility. Cloud Trapeze is a possibility. Strength of Giants would be a good one to buff my Samurai, as would Legions of Steel. But we're going to stay the course for right now. We may splash Construction 3 and Enchantment 4 or so. Possibly even Enchantment 5 before we get... Well, no, I want to get Conjuration 5 first, so we'll go to that point. Alright, that's turn 20. These guys are all just kind of sticking around, hanging around, seeing what's what. After turn 22, I probably will start moving in, taking some of Raga's provinces away. And then we will turn on Patala as well, I think, because Patala is just too big. By the way, I just wanted to point out, this game is nuts. This game is bonkers backwards. Raga is fighting Patala and not doing terribly well. Jomon rushed Mictlan. Admittedly, Mictlan fucked up, but still. Jomon rushed Mictlan. You never get to say that. I had to do it just for that phrase alone. The biggest power on the map currently is probably Patala, which is unlikely. And I'm doing pretty well, to be honest. I still do not anticipate winning this game for 2 reasons. First of all, because I'm bad at Dominions. Specifically, I'm actually pretty good at the early part of Dominions. At early expansion, at like you're the first, at picking targets, at diplomacy. I'm good at all of those things. What I'm bad at is battle scripting, especially in the late game. I don't know the intricacies of the magic system enough to easily predict what my enemies will do. And I tend to go in kind of fat and happy. I tend to be optimistic, and that is a problem because when I go in all fat and happy and optimistic, I get shreked by people doing things that I didn't anticipate. So, and that is a very constant theme with me. I'm working on it, but don't expect miracles. I'm still going to suck for a long, long time when it comes to the late game. But in terms of we're starting to enter the mid game now, and I'm actually in a pretty solid place. I have almost 20 provinces. I'm about to have a capital unless this goes disastrously wrong, which is possible, but I think unlikely. I have 5 forts and gonna have 7 in fairly short order here. I'm spending my money on mages. I'm building up decent gem income. Okay, that's an exaggeration. My gem income is bad. But I have some gem income, which is nice. I need to be moving more mages around to site search is what I need to be doing, to be fully honest. But, yeah. Anyway, I'm in a good place. I like where I am. I feel fairly confident. As soon as I hit Conjuration level 5, I'm going to cast Voice of Tiamat on both of these provinces, which will allow me to see all of the elemental sites in both of these provinces and should give my gem income a bit of a kick in the pants, because oceans are pretty good about having gem income. So, that's all for now, and I will see you in turn... Oh, and also, I have a small blood slave income, and I'm about to increase my blood slave income just a little bit, because the Temple of the Sun gives you a blood slave. So I'm going to be up to 4, which means by the mid-game, it's actually possible I'll be able to empower somebody and break into blood. And which is useful, considering that's going to be like my only end-game plan. So in any case, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in turn 21.